At the beginning of this, I was a little nervous, but after I went through it, it was better. I thought that it went well, but it could have been better. I could have had more activities, and some of the kids asked if it was all we were doing was the one activity that I had, and they asked if for crafts. I think next time that I do this, I would add a craft maybe, or some kind of artistic thing. I thought that I could have been more prepared and practiced a little bit more with my lesson plan, looked at it, and practiced reading a little bit and stuff like that. Could have made it more challenging than what I had it as, because I thought I was doing first grade instead of second grade, and then I looked at my sheet after I had written my lesson plan and turned it in this morning. The kids answered their questions that I had asked. They loved to talk, and some of them answered the questions really well, and some of them took a little time to get to have them answer. But once they were asked directly and they were looked at and asked multiple times, then they could answer. A lot of the answers were stories relating to the question that I asked, or it was relating to the book. They told stories about having their names attached to the book, or certain stories that went along with the bowling that was being talked about. Students seemed to enjoy the activity that I had. It was putting a list of ideas of what a bully does and what a bully doesn't do in categories, and then discussing and talking about them. A few of the ideas were confusing and hard for them. Like I had accidentally bumping into somebody, and they had to ask if it was, they had to relook at it to see that it was actually an accident, and something that would be not, something that a bully would not do because it was an accident. They just had to double check it. But other than that, they enjoyed it and liked it. I thought that I could have made them harder and more challenging ideas a little bit more. Reading went well, I think. I was slow, not too fast. I showed the pictures to them and they all saw, and chanted when there's chanting, and I asked questions when there's questions, and just added to the story a little bit and kind of talked through the book and asked them the questions along with reading. The students paid attention and they really got into the book. On a certain page there was a class list, and they all decided that they wanted to read the list of all the names for the book, or for the class. And at the end, most of them had read the book, and so at the end they wanted to read the last page because they were excited about it. I liked the last page how Chrysanthemum was the best and in the play, and that her teacher had the baby girl and named her Chrysanthemum. So they really enjoyed reading the book, and everybody paid attention to that. While we were talking about this story, or the pages in the book, there were stories to tell that were told from certain pages. And that's when I had to get them back on track, and I thought I did that pretty well. It wasn't hard to do. I just told them they had to listen and pay attention some more, and they went back to it pretty well. I could have introduced the book that I had read and the topic a little bit better at the beginning. I just kind of told them and then started reading the book. You could have talked about being a bully and not a bully a little bit more at the beginning. One of the girls' names was in the book, and so we talked about that a little bit at the beginning, but that was it. Overall, I think I did pretty well and got my lesson across pretty well, but I could have added to it, like I said earlier, with more activities and a better discussion, and could have added the aspect of art. I think it would have added more to my lesson and would have been more fun for the kids to use and learn with. Would have been a little bit different. I think that I would probably use this lesson in a classroom, but I would definitely change it a little bit, adding the things that I've said throughout this. But overall, I think this is a successful lesson.